Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Reconnect My Heart podcast, the show that we talk about life's problems that may break or tear our hearts apart. On Reconnect My Heart, we'll discuss God's answers to life's problems to reconnect our hearts back to the way He originally made us.
That's
I'm your host, Brother Pray. I'm so glad you're able to join us. If you have any questions, comments, if you just want to listen to the show, feel free to call us at 516 453 9118. That's 516 453 9118. Or you can listen online at
I'm talking.
www.blogtalkradio.com/ reconnect my heart. Or you can go to our chat room, which is available right now as we speak, where you can send your questions, comments, or even prayer requests. Right now, we're going to jump into the program. I have a special guest that I want to introduce you all to. I have her on right now, having difficulty getting her on. Okay, hopefully everyone is able to see. Okay. Okay, right now, without further moment ado, I would like to introduce you all to a young lady that I've been knowing for some years, and she has done my taxes. And fabulous young lady. I want to introduce her like this. On today, we have Miss Tia. Miss Tia, she's called Tia the Tax Lady. She will be sharing her journey as well as her journey becoming a young entrepreneur. Also, she's going to be answering some questions pertaining to taxes, preparing our taxes, and also the new tax laws that are implemented now. She's going to talk about that and much more in an episode called Talk Time and More with Miss Tina. But so, here is Miss Tina at this time. How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing good. And
So, let me
you?
get you on. Okay, okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. I want to check on it here. I was having problems getting you on. I want to make sure that we on here. Okay, okay. Look like we're gonna be sharing the screen, so I want to make sure that for those who are able to be on, I want them to be able to see you. They can hear me. They see me all the time, but you're the one that needs to be seen. We are very glad that you're on here on the program, and I hope that you can be able to just give us some insight on what we need to know, what we need to do. But first, for those who may not know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your beginnings, and we'll start right there with your beginnings. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Tia Ward. I was, I was in college at the time, and I was going to school to get an accounting degree, and I happened to pass by a school that was empty, and I believe I was like 20, 19 years old at the time, and so I just went for it and opened up a school, which is now Heavenly Christian Academy. We have two locations, and then we're licensed for over 200 children. And about probably 15 years ago, I started doing taxes. I had already been doing taxes for myself and family members. And so we started doing taxes as a fundraiser for the school. And that's how we got tax breaks. And since then, we probably have 500 customers that's, really loyal. And most have been with me, probably, I would say 80% of my clients have been with me since I've started.
Okay, okay. Now I know how to get you and I on the screen together. Yes. Um, Now you said that you had started when you were young. Do you remember what age that you were at?
19. I was
19.
19, probably about to turn 20.
Wow.
And and I was like, oh, this used to be a child care center, and it was just a a center in a shopping center. And then we had that one for 2 years, and then 2 years later we built our second location from ground up, which is not far from the original location. And so basically, I've been an entrepreneur for now almost 28, 29 years. I mean, I've had jobs because I started working at 10. But I worked for the Dallas Petroleum Club, Department of Energy. So I mean, I sold newspapers at 10 years old. So yeah, I've been working for a really long time.
Wow. Wow. And I will say this, kind of later on we'll be talking about the taxes and stuff, but just from when I've seen her work, when she's done my taxes, she has involved her family. I can say, and you know how sometimes you get some of the kin folks, you like, well, we just gonna keep on the payroll, but we're gonna keep them away from the clients. But all the family members that you have working with you, they're so professional. They're so sweet. I mean, it's like, wow. And I've seen you in pressurous times where it could be where anybody else, their temper will flare, but you always been, you and also work with your mom and your daughters and stuff. They've always been so calm and professional. I'm like, wow. Sometimes I would just sit up there. I'm like, good grief. I wish I could have that in my family.
Yeah,
So,
taxes. It's one of those professions that, because you are dealing with people's money. So of course, if someone don't receive their check when they think they're supposed to receive it, or just you know everyone coming at one time, or different things. It's totally different from childcare, but I think if we can handle kids and the pressure from family and children, then you can pretty much take on any profession. But
hmm. Wow. Okay. So now you open up the building, and you said that the first thing you got into were taxes.
yeah, well, when we opened up the school, like probably maybe 10 years later, because in the beginning the school was challenging. We didn't really have a lot of money. I was able to get an SBA loan for the second location. Um, it's but and it took help from my mom and my sister. And I think at the time my sister was still in high school, so she went to school in the evening time to work during the daytime. And now we have, like I said, we're licensed between both locations, over 200 kids. We have over 20 teachers. We have teachers that have been employed with us since we opened. The average teacher's probably been with us 15 years. We're partnered up with Dallas Independent School District. We're a Texas Rising Star Center. I mean, but with all that being said, we still accommodate mostly low income families, and so we really didn't have the money that we needed to do a lot of extra, like playground and new buses. And so I was like, you know what, I'll do taxes as a fundraiser. And it just actually started its own business. It's a year round company. We have clients in California, Oklahoma, Atlanta, Washington. So I mean, and it's all word of mouth. Everybody knows somebody, or we do like families, your mom, your brother, your sister. So, and everyone's connected some type of way. As I mean, there's no advertising there. It's not. It wasn't really a big storefront. We did end up having to close that part of the tax office down to expand the school for Dallas Independent School District, which the that center and tax office ended up burning last year. So we're out of one center now until we get back into the other location. But it just grew. I mean, I love it. I really love what I do, and I mean, I look forward to saving people money every year.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. So even just you being a young lady that had those desires to do something, especially you mentioned about your work ethic. Um, did you feel that your age or even your gender would be a hindrance? Did you feel any challenges?
I did. Being young in the beginning was tough. Plus I was a teenage mom. So I mean, I always looked at like when we were growing up. I felt like my mom struggled to kind of maybe tolerated certain things in life, to make things better for us or to keep us in a family environment, financially. um so when I got older, I always said, you know what, I never want to be without or have my children without or have to settle for less in a relationship or anything like that, because you know I couldn't financially take care of myself. So I think early on, I think that's what drove me. And then, in the beginning, I used to be kind of embarrassed because I was like a teenage mom and trying to make it work. But now, now that I look back, I'm like, okay, girl, you made it. So I'm really not embarrassed anymore about it. But it was, I just didn't want, because I didn't want, like, not to call it a mistake but something that happened that should have been ideally happening later in life. I didn't want that to hinder, what I could do and what I could accomplish in life. So.
Wow. But and hopefully there's some young lady that may be listening who might have been in the same shoes to be able to listen to someone who not just was there but overcame it in spite of being there. You didn't look at that situation as something that was going to stop you. So like I said, normally I like to be very careful on who I speak about because sometimes you don't really know a person. But for me to be able to see you throughout the years, I don't remember exactly how long it's been. I know if I had to guess, maybe about 7, 8 years,
Yeah,
something like that.
yes,
Yeah,
it's at least 7. Yes, at least
yeah.
7.
So
I met you through Viveka,
yes,
and
yes. Shout out
she
to
still
her.
and she's still a client as well. So, hmm
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, I've seen your grind, and I wanted to make sure. I've been wanting you to come on here for some time because I really felt that there was a lot of people that need to really just hear, your story. And also, by this being the tax season, this is something, especially from the former administrator and everything. We need to be very up to date pertaining to the information that only a professional, to me, a professional can provide. So now, this being the tax season, um, can you prepare us for some of the things that we may need to do, things that we may need to bring with us as far as getting our taxes prepared?
yes, like this year's different because we had COVID, and a lot of people's situations changed this year. You had people that were on unemployment. Some people may have worked both unemployment and jobs. This We are able to use last year's earned income credit. Let's not get that confused. It's not last year's wages or tax return. It is just only the earned income credit portion and the child tax credit portion. I would say if you have not filed your taxes, a lot of people are, rushing to file their taxes because of the stimulus. I would say wait a couple of weeks because right now there are a lot of changes taking place and software updates because now they just came in and they're allowing 10,000 of the unemployment not to be tax deductible, which can be a savings up to $1,000, $2,000, on a tax return. So a lot of these returns that have previously been filed will need to be amended. Hopefully, the IRS will amend these taxes on their own since a lot of people charge. Now, if I prepare your taxes, I don't charge you to amend them, but everyone don't come to me. So I do suggest, if you've already filed and you had unemployment, have a second look at those numbers. Um, this year too, we a lot of people just encountered a really difficult time. So like if you pull from, your IRA, that can be tax deferred over a 3-year period. So there are a lot of changes that can literally save you thousands of dollars this year. Because if you pull, let's say, a $10,000 retirement out, um, 10,000 being taxable in 1 year, it could be like a big difference on your tax return versus only having 3,333 of it taxable this year, next year, and then year 20, 21, 22, 23. So I definitely say go to a professional to get your taxes done or read. If you're going to prepare your taxes yourself, always take time to read the law, take time to understand the law because when you make mistakes or leave things out, the IRS does not forgive us for not reading. You're penalized, which is usually 2 years later. And this year, right now, definitely look into what's going on because there are so many different tax breaks that we can take advantage of with the CARES Act.
Okay. Yeah. So some of those things that we may forget about or may not be aware of that we might be able to use as far as deductions. What are some of those things that we can use?
We're really limited on a lot of deductions. We do have the main things, and you got charity. You have, even if you itemize, you can take an additional $300. So if you take the standard deduction, you can also utilize an additional 300 for charity. You have, sales tax, your car tax, auto sales tax for large purchases. You can write off your home mortgage, your mortgage premium insurance, the property tax, um, and then your medical. A lot of people don't know. Also, like say if you have a service dog, and you need him, for it's not just, if you're blind, now they have it where it's for, comfort as well or anxiety. People, have pets now and taking care and maintaining that pet is now a medical write off. So that's something a lot of times people don't know. So if you have a dog that's, you consider him service, his dog food, his everything that's needed to take care of this pet is now falls under the medical tax deduction. Um, let me. A lot of times people don't know about the energy credits for your home. So let's say you use a propane tank to, barbecue or use that gas. That's $150 tax deduction. I mean, it's dollar for dollar. You can write off windows, doors, anything that's making your house more energy efficient. Electric cars are 7,500 tax deduction. Now these credits are to offset a tax bill. They're non-refundable credits. Um, so let's say you have a zero tax bill You're getting a refund from, children. The biggest credits people know are earned income credit, child tax credit, education credit. But a lot of times, even though we're getting a refund, we still have a tax bill. So you can receive a refund of 3,000, but still have $1,000 tax bill. So these are ways to cut those bills down. So you can get rid of that $1,000 tax bill and now have a $4,000 refund. Something like that in my house. Hey, y'all. I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry, Mr. Prater, brother Prater.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. You can continue. You continue.
Okay, so I think then other credits. I think putting into a retirement plan. A lot of times, when you put into a retirement plan on your job, always utilize the maximum amounts. Even if it's outside of your company, there's a retirement credit. If you're taking classes, even though it's not in a college, but let's say like classes to better your job skills, you can take the lifetime credit. Even though it's not a refundable credit, it still offsets your tax bill. There's, several non-refundable credits that will kind of eat away at your tax bill, which will, maximize your tax return. Adoption credit is up to 14,000 if you're adopting a child. Um, even if even if the adoption doesn't go through, if you're in the process of paying for an attorney, and even the early stages, that credit still applies.
Okay. Good information. I, you teaching me something.
And I'm gonna tell one more thing. I think is pretty
Yeah.
cool too. Also, like when people put their kids in a sport, and a lot of times, we're paying all this money. I'm seeing more in the high school years because the first 3 years of a hobby, I mean, of a business, if it's a loss, after the 3 years, it'll be considered a hobby. So let's say you have John and football, and you're paying for all these camps. You can treat that as a business because the idea is that he's going to be a professional athlete. And so you're paying for this. So the trips out of town, the one-on-one training camps and things like that, it becomes a business write-off for that child because you're doing this in hopes that, he's going to make money, or if they're winning prizes and things like that, it's a business. So that sophomore, junior, and high school year, go ahead and set it up like a business. So by the time he's in college, that you won't have those expenses, but those last 3 years, they will be a tax write-off. And you can also use it as a home office for that child, which opens the door of kind of like, so you can't write off your repairs on your house, but if you're using your home as a business, now you can write off your repairs and depreciate your home, and take a small percentage of that and make it tax deductible.
Okay. Wow. So,
We have to be creative trying to save
yeah.
trying to save some
Yeah.
dollars here.
Yes. Yes. And I want to let people know all this is legal.
Yes, it's
You know,
legal.
we're not talking about anything illegal. We're not talking about some people when they get close to the end of the year they want to find some child we're not talking about that.
No,
All
no,
this
no.
is legal. That's why I wanted to make sure to have a professional on here, someone that I knew, someone that have, like I said, done my taxes for years, and someone that's credible. And so, this is something that we have to look at because a lot of times we just don't know. You know, also I know even just keeping the receipts of your medicine and the things that you pay for. That was something that you taught me throughout the years. You know, bring my stuff, bring everything. Try not to just memorize stuff when you get ready to get your taxes prepared. You know, thankfully, Miss Tia, she does have a worksheet that's provided. If you want to schedule an appointment, she can send it to you. You can download it, or even just a scratch sheet of paper. I always advise people, write it down. You're welcome to elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Brother Prowler comes in and he makes sure he writes down all his expenses, and we go through we go through them. But when he first started, you were able to write off uniforms and work related expenses. But since the standard deduction doubled, they took away all the smaller deductions. So you only have to keep up with the fewer things. I'm hoping that would change, because that was when Trump was able to write off 70,000 for his hairdo. So on that, on the old itemization plan. But sometimes, like, so if you have someone that's like driving their vehicle, right now you can't get mileage, so you need to make sure that your employer is reimbursing those miles, because they're not tax deductible. And just anything that you think may be a tax deduction, just get a little binder, or even if it's a shoebox or whatever, envelopes, and label them, medical or car repairs. Because not now your mileage and your driving your car is not tax deductible now, but if it does come back into place that you can use your car as a business expense, I mean as an employee business expense, you can keep up with that. But if you drive, a lot of people are doing Uber Eats, and driving, so they will need to keep up with those expenses. Not only miles, because you can only either do miles or actual expenses, or we can depreciate the car. The cool thing, let's say if you're driving for Uber and in December you buy a $30,000 car, we can actually depreciate that car up to like 10,000, even though you probably only put $500 down on the car. So I mean, it's so much, and that's why when you sit down and talk with somebody, it's good to kind of get to know who you're working with, get to know your tax clients, what they do. Sometimes once I'm talking to someone, I realize they have a tax deduction that they didn't even know they had. So
Hmm.
student interest, even if you pay student interest for your children, that's tax deductible. A lot of people that take care of their parents, even though their parents stay in another state, you can use your parent as head of household. And for some people, claiming a parent for head of household purposes is worth thousands of dollars on their tax return. Also, if you a dad or a mom that pays child support, but the kids stay with the other parent, you can still claim head of household. You're not claiming the children, but you can use one for head of household purposes. And parents that are co-parenting, you can split children up. A lot of parents don't know that the child tax credit and EIC, those deductions can be split up and shared between the parents. So there are a lot of things out there to really. Sometimes people come in and they'll learn something. They like, wow, and we'll go back and amend the previous 3 years with head of household and things like that.
Hmm. Good knowledge. Good knowledge.
Your parent can stay in a whole nother state, and you can claim them for head of household purposes. Now
Hmm.
you're supposed to take care of your parent now. I mean, not
Right.
meeting all their needs, but if we're always taking care of mom and dad as they get older, and they can still file a tax return because they usually receive Social Security. So if they're filing that or their retirement to get federal withholdings back, you can still claim them for head of household purposes.
Okay. Okay. Now, also, we experienced something last year. This virus. Uh, by us being in this situation that we never dealt with in our lifetime. Um, are they extra um, taxes or extra savings that we can have pertaining to this pandemic?
Like I was telling about the retirement plan, if you did have to pull out, it's not, it could be deferred over 3 years. Also, if you're self-employed, you can also defer your social security taxes over a 3-year period. There's a lot of tax savings now. Also, if you are a small business and you paid your employees to be off during COVID, the government, I mean, the when you file your 941s, you can request that money back. And a lot of people didn't was not aware of that. Actually, my cousin that works with me informed me of this. I was like, what? So it is for businesses that are under 500, but businesses that employ under 50, you do not have to comply with paying your employees that were off for sick leave for COVID purposes. But if you did, it's 100% uh, refunded back to you, requested on your 941. So a lot of people was not aware of that. So a lot of people were not paid this past year for taking off, and it just because their bosses didn't know that this money was available to them, and it's still not too late to go back and get it. So if you didn't pay, like say one of your workers for being off, because they had COVID, or you guys had to close down or quarantine, you can go back and pay them and request that money from on your 941 taxes.
Okay.
It comes as a credit when we pay our payroll taxes. So right now, everyone's, you have like loans, the SBA PPL loan and payroll protection loan, and the grants. Now these are for businesses that were already operating January 20th. And so if you were filing like a small business in January 20 year, and then now coming to 2021, the company is not doing so good, you would automatically, well, I'm not going to say automatically, but you can apply for assistance for the payroll assistance program for self-employed people. They'll pay 3.5 times what your normal salary is, your gross salary, to keep your business afloat. So I didn't think that I would qualify. I honestly didn't, being a small business. And if it was not for a few friends, like, hey, have you applied for your SBA loan? I mean, I would not have gotten it. And I received $49,000 forgiven to help pay for my staff. So that was a blessing. And then we'll automatically get a bigger one this year to help pay for the staff. So if you're a small business and you've struggled or lost business, definitely reach out to your bank and get assistance in applying for these grants and loans.
Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to see. There's so far there are no questions. Maybe you're reading everybody's mind. But I say, like, for right now, I want to make sure to let people know, even though she's giving us great ideas, she's stimulating our minds to make us think of some things. One of the things I always suggest people, always seek professional help, professional assistance. She's available. Now, do you take walk-ins or schedules only?
We only, yeah, due to COVID right now, we do not take. We not. Some people still walk in. I won't turn you down. I'll try to help you if I can. We do prefer that you call, so that you're not coming and having to wait, for a long period of time. So, I do Zoom meetings. I do telephone conferences. I do free quotes. I give free advice. So you're welcome to call me at any time.
Okay. From one of my classmates, she asks, "How does the unemployment tax work?"
Right now, the unemployment taxes, right now, unemployment is taxable. Unemployment is not considered earned income. So therefore, it doesn't count toward calculating your child tax credit or EIC credit for your children. But however, now it is 10,000 will be taken off of the unemployment and it will not be taxable. Now, the software updates and forms are not available for this. So, if you have unemployment, I suggest waiting a week or more to file your taxes. And if you've already filed your taxes with unemployment, it needs to be possibly needs to be amended for more because you'll receive more money. So, but that was the problem. A lot of people didn't have taxes taken out of the unemployment.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully that answered. Like someone. Okay. No one else asked that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering that question. Thank you for asking that question. Also, one of the things I want to let people know, there is no such thing as a dumb question. You know, she said thank you. Okay, so you answered it. But if you have any questions, she's here right now. You can type in your questions, or even if you inbox me, I can say it out loud. I don't have to say your name, but I want to make sure to let people know, hey, she's professional. She's been doing it for many years, and any questions that you have, regardless if you think that it's not important or it's a dumb question, whatever like that, no. We're not judging questions. We answering questions. Well, she's answering questions, and she's here to help us. And she's taking out of her time, and I thank you for you using your time. And this is
Oh, no
to
problem.
let people. I want to make sure to let people know, hey, look, this is professional, because many people are looking for people to get their taxes done, and you can go to a legitimate person that's professional, friendly, and she'll work with you. So I want to make sure to let people know that she's here, and she's here to answer your questions.
And I add something else on the unemployment. If
Yes.
you receive, let's say you receive 30,000 in unemployment and you didn't have any earned income credit, as far as W-2s, wages, things like that, but you have children, you would take your earned income credit amount that was calculated for 2019, because if you only claim the unemployment with children, you're only going to have a tax bill for the unemployment. So make sure if you received unemployment and you have children that your EIC and child tax credit is calculated from 2019. Therefore, you'll get a refund for the children similar to what you received in 2019 for your kids. So a lot of people that received unemployment and didn't work, their refunds are actually bigger this year than they were larger this year than they were last year.
Okay. Okay. Good word. Good word. Um, so far, no other questions. Can you right now? Can you let us know, for those who may be just chiming in? Can you give them your contact information?
Yes, my it's Tax Breaks is the name of the company. My telephone number is 214-448-54. Okay, 21. I'm sorry, I started reading the question. 214-448-5443. And we're located in Dallas off of 635 and Northwest Highway, Garland Road. We're right like Mesquite, Garland, Dallas, and one block over is every little city. So it's funny where we're located.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you say someone asked a
Yeah,
question?
she said my sister-in-law filed last year, but it was returned because she did not sign. She never got it. Should she refile? Um, did she? If yeah, most returns should be electronically filed, unless you're missing a pin. Last year was the pandemic. A lot of people paperwork is still sitting in warehouses. So I would definitely try to get electronically filed, because if not, it could be a pretty long time before she see the return process. So in case, unless it's missing a pin or someone claimed a dependent, you should always electronically file your taxes. Even if she can't afford to file her taxes, there are free programs that if your income's under a certain amount, she can still file it electronically with one of those companies. You just go to the IRS website and they'll have like a free filing sites. Now it's definitely your income needs to be a certain amount. I'm not for sure what that amount is, but if that was the reason she was paper filing, she could go another route. But definitely, yes, if they returned it, it has to be completed, either signed or electronically signed.
Okay. While I'm thinking about it, I saw some people that were asking questions online a couple of days ago. So I'm going to ask you, now that President Biden has signed for us to get another stimulus check, in case we don't get it at a certain time, who should we contact? And who should we not contact?
I rather you not contact me, but no, that's not true. We do. We spend a lot of our time this year helping with stimulus checks. Okay, so if you did not receive the first 1,200 stimulus and 600 stimulus for yourself or for your children, or if you didn't receive the stimulus check because someone on your return previously had an I-10, now you know that those that's retroactive now. So now you can apply for that stimulus. Or if you were a dependent of your parents, and so now if you file a tax return now that you're not a dependent, you will file for these stimulus payments, the first one and the second one, on your 2020 tax return. And you can apply for the stimulus on your tax return without having to file actual taxes. So you don't need wages. You can just file the recovery rebate. Now, the new stimulus that is coming up, right now, there are not instructions on if you do not receive this. It seems to be a better process now. You can track it. You can go on and update your address, update your account number. When you file your 2020 tax return, if possible, use a company that do not use a bank product with your taxes. That's like a loan or a debit card or a check, but you're using your own account number. We use like a quick collect with our tax company. And I do have another company if you need to use a bank product that's available, but for clients that do have their own checking account, we just use quick collect. Therefore, their account number is given to the IRS and not a bank product dummy account number. That's the problem a lot of people were having. So you go to irs.gov and you go to where's my payment, and you can track your third stimulus payment, which is $1,400, even including the college students now. They're receiving $1,400 as well, and the younger kids are receiving 3,600 and 3,000. So stimulus payments are pretty large this time around.
Okay, so I'm writing it down. You said we can contact www dot where's my package.
IRS, go to irs.gov and go to where's where'smypayment.com. Well, no, just go to irs.gov and then go to where's my payment. It's almost like where's my refund, and it's where's my payment, so that way you can track your stimulus payment. So I mean, they've already started issuing stimulus payments. So, but for them to release millions of stimulus payments, it will be over a couple of months. So, just be patient and keep checking that website. But it's not applied for on your 2020 tax return, but it is based on your 2020 tax return.
Okay. So www, they know not to have uh, some of my relatives on there. They'll say www dot where's my money. um, okay. There was another question. It says, okay, if it's mailed, this is the same young lady that asked the question. If it's mailed, would it counteract it if she sent it? I guess if she sent it through e-file.
Yeah, if she can e-file it, that's best. Only because of the pandemic. We most tax agents are still working from home, so
Mhm.
they're not receiving that paper mail. So it's a
Right.
big delay on processing paper returns. So that if you can get it e-filed, that's fine. So once they process the paper return, they'll see it's already been filed, and they'll just mail it back. So it's not a big deal to go ahead and electronically file it.
Okay. 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 That's good. That's good information. To be honest with you, and like I said, I'm thank you for those questions because um, never really think about it. So that's why it's important for us to ask questions. It'll stimulate thoughts of others. Um, so that's real good. So right now, as we get ready to wrap things up, is there any suggestions that you would give us, or any other insight you would give us pertaining to getting ready to come by and see you?
Um, just call and we can discuss, whatever your situation is, and try to, you know, get you the most tax breaks we can. Um, Also, keep in mind if you've already filed your taxes this year, that's something new. Before we had to paper mail amended taxes. Those too can be electronically filed. So if you've already filed your taxes, a lot of people that filed early definitely need to have a second look, because there's a lot of forms that were not available and will not be available until like after March 25th. So that may apply to you. The unemployment that I was looking at a couple of my clients' returns today, and I was like, okay, let me see. Taking off 10,000. I mean, and it was like one person was receiving 1,600 extra. Another person, that 10,000 was worth 2,500 on her tax return. So it can be pretty significant as far as reducing unemployment by 10 grand.
Okay. Uh, while I'm thinking about it, now this was before I was able to see you. Years ago, I had to pay the IRS. I believe it was like 3 years in a row, um, back in 2002 and 2003. And when I was paying multiple years, and I was sending the money order. I would put in the information. Well, I found out even if I finished making a payment in for 1 year, I still had to make sure that even though I was used to paying 2 years, I was paying 2 years at the same time. Just because you finish paying on 1 year, if you're still paying on another year, you have to make sure to put the correct information, because even if you got done paying for 1 year and you thinking, well, they know my name, they'll just use that money and carry it over to the other year. No, they won't. You're still accumulating penalty and interest daily.
That's so true.
So
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, anytime you mail a year off, always keep it separate. Make sure your payments are always separate because they will not apply it to another thing like what you're saying. Because if you have a balance, the best thing to do is, let's say you have federal withholdings coming out of your check. The best thing to do is probably reduce. If you can't afford, let's say your budget with your federal withholdings and paying the IRS is only $100 a month. Take that $100 and pay off your old bill, because the longer that bill sits, the higher the interest rate gets. So you could easily be paying 22, 25% in interest to the IRS. So it's better to, and I hate to tell somebody, say, not to pay your current tax liability, but it's better to get those past years paid off. Now, if you have IRS debt that's 10 years old, now it automatically falls off. So those you can forget about. They're forgiven. But anything else, yeah, if it's 3 or 4 years, try to knock that out first and pay as minimal as possible on your current year, especially if you're receiving a refund. So if they're taking your refund at the end of the year, make it to where you're not receiving a refund at the end of the year, and that money is going to your past IRS debt. Their penalties and interest usually is double the actual amount you actually owe. And just because you receive a bill from the IRS for like cancellation of debt, a lot of times people forget to put off cancellation of debt. There's a way to write off cancellation of debt so it's not taxable. So I always have someone look at that, because if you have a $5,000 cancellation of debt and you left it off your taxes and they say, oh, you owe $2,000, all you have to fill out is an insolvent report statement, and that can be zero out, no tax at all. Sometimes when the IRS add income or adjust your taxes, they won't add deductions that you could have taken. So always, when you receive a notice, take it to your tax preparer, see what they can do. We can abate penalties. We can make adjustments, add deductions that you may not have qualified at the time. The IRS will adjust your bill, but they will not provide you with the deductions that you missed. So don't let those letters scare you. But always pay the old bill off first, because the longer that bill sits, the higher the interest rate goes.
Yeah, thank you for that. Also, just in case you get a phone call and it's saying that they're saying that it's the IRS and you owe this amount of money and all that stuff, please, please, please make sure that you don't take their word for it right then and there, because there's a lot of scammers. Um, I don't owe the IRS, but then all of a sudden you get these automated phone calls and all that stuff, and sometimes people can get your information from a variety of places, but you always want to double check to make sure. Contact somebody, get their number, contact somebody, talk to a real person, and don't just give them your information. Wait till they give you your information.
And you'll always receive a letter first. Now, the IRS has used collection companies. This is new. I was shocked when I heard it myself. They are using outside collection companies, but you have a bill. You'll always receive a letter first. But that's one of the biggest scams, is to call you and say you made a mistake on your past tax return. Your tax person made a mistake and you owe us $100 or something dollars now, and they'll take and people fall for it. They give them their credit card number right over the phone. So do not pay your IRS bill over the phone.
Yes. Yeah. I always recommend people, if you think that you're getting a phone call and you're unsure if it's real or not, contact the person that did your taxes. Let them help you. Okay. The young lady that asked a question, she said, "Thank you so much. I appreciate the information."
Thank you.
Yes. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna get ready to oh, see someone. Okay, I thought that was a question somebody just said. Just made a comment, but we're gonna get ready to wrap everything up. And I thank you, Miss Tia, so much for your time, your wisdom. If you like to share any other information, you're welcome to at this time.
Oh no, thank you. I appreciate being able to share, and hopefully somebody got something out of it they can use. So I appreciate you having me.
My honor, my honor. And also, when we get done, I'm going to definitely have your information at the bottom, so that way, if anybody want to get in contact, people, this is Miss Tia, the tax break, Tia with tax breaks. So we want to make sure to get in contact with her, give her your business. Once again, can you give us your information one more time?
Yes, it's tax breaks, and the telephone number is 214-448-5443 and 972-681-7545. The second number is a landline, so no text messages on the second one.
Okay, okay. All right, well, once again, we thank you so much, Miss Tia. I'm going to be seeing you in a couple of days.
Okay, thank you.
I thank y'all so much, and thank you for watching the Reconnect My Heart podcast. God bless you, and good night.
Good night.